My friends over at Roosevelt's, they make the most incredible shirts. And they have everything from Disney to The Office to Jurassic Park, WWE, and everything pop culture. Nickelodeon, Nicktoons. My son and I fight over the shirts that we get shipped to us. Use promo code SWOGGLE. Save 20% off any order, from button-ups to hoodies to activewear, everything. Guys, go to roosevelts.com. RSVLTS.com. Use promo code SWOGGLE. Save yourself 20% on everything. RSVLTS.com.
Hey guys! Another episode, once again, of the greatest going podcast today, Going Postl podcast. George, I feel very high in my chair. Like there's something. I raised my chair. Peek behind the curtain. I raised my chair because I was having camera issues, and now I feel like I'm gonna get a nosebleed. I'm so high in the chair.
Well, tell the people what you're working on and why you took your camera down. Give a little teaser.
Coming to the YouTube page very soon, hopefully. Landon and I unboxed my full Muppets Palisades collection. It was a 2-hour project. And in perfect Dylan Postl form, technology was my enemy once again. I started recording on my phone. Ran out of space on my phone. So, I went to my computer, like George told me to do. My computer died. I didn't notice it. So maybe we might have lost all the files. After recording today, we're going to check and see if we can get the file back. But
maybe it'll work some magic.
It is a huge, huge unboxing. Literally, we're 2 hours in to these Muppet Palisades figures. They are my favorite action figure line of all time. The detail in them, the accessories in them, the randomness of characters. I found out I'm still missing one character from the regular series, and I'm not happy.
Oh.
And I'm very not happy because I looked online at the price tag of it, and it's not good.
That's where they get you, man.
So my collection will be incomplete for a little while. It will be. But these figures are top notch, and I cannot wait for their full reveal. If I don't get the footage back, I have another idea for the reveal of it. And Eric Postl came over and helped me put together a glass cabinet that we both thought they missed on pieces, and we were using the wrong pieces for one of the parts, and we were getting very angry at it. We almost drilled a hole in the metal because we couldn't fit a screw in, and we were using the wrong screw.
That would have been real bad.
But we're good. We're good, and it is probably... It's such a... I mean, I've wanted to display these figures for so long now. I've had them just sitting in totes, in 4 huge totes, for gotta be 6 years now, just sitting in my garage. And
damn,
this was definitely a pre-pandemic thing, and I was like, you know what? It's time to display them. I have 2 more Detolfs, so it's gonna be like this fall is gonna be just putting everything in my basement on display.
Now, are you Detolf purist, or do you have other things? Because I know, like, some people do like a mix and match. Some people are like strictly Detolf. I only do Detolf.
So because of the size of the Muppet collection and all the play sets, their play sets themselves are huge. I needed a bigger cabinet. But all the other things I'm using, all the other like my Warrior collection coming up, my Power Ranger collection coming up, my Turtle collection coming up, all of those will be strictly detolf and strictly the same color.
Okay.
All of that, because there's some people in the major pod page that post their detolfs like together, and just a wall or two of detolfs, and it looks so slick. I think like all of them right next to each other.
Max Smashmaster, Kyle Peterson, like
Kyle Peterson's is the best, where they're so close to each other. Shout out to Mrs. Peterson as well for the greatest YouTube video ever, showing how to put the detolf together. It's
great.
Yes. Yeah, that's been the most helpful thing.
This is like it's like a blessing and a curse with the IKEA furniture. I feel like that's always the main complaint that people have, where it's just like, oh, like it's good and it looks great, but the instructions sometimes can. My dad was
getting so mad. I haven't seen my dad like angry at like a project like this. I don't know if ever in my life, and it was literally, Dill, I just don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. This just doesn't make sense. This glass, he just kept saying, this glass is going to shatter. This glass is going to shatter. And it's going to be a mess, and we're going to get hurt. But we ended up doing it, and it turned out great. I'm so happy with it, and I cannot wait to show you guys the finished product.
Hell yes. But with that small update, let's talk about a couple of things right here, right now. This podcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Roosevelt's. Head over to roosevelts.com and use code SWOGGLE to save yourself 20%. Guys, we talk about it every week. You hear the ad at the beginning of the podcast.
They dropped a Haunted Mansion collection, and I texted our buddy. I go, hey, there couldn't be a more perfect collection for me. Like, this is... And then I saw the shirts. Woo! Woo, baby! I'm going to have some literally every day of October, I'm going to wear these Roosevelt shirts.
Oh, yeah. Now, also, don't forget, you can go over to @GoingPostelPod and @DylanPostel on all forms of social media. And now, we only have to say this because it's up and running. For all things Swoggle, all you got to do is head on over to DylanPostel.com. We've got
brand
links.
New hub.
That's it. We've got links to the YouTube channel, the Twitch channel. If you want to listen to the podcast, we got links to that. We got links to swoggleauction.com, where you can go and get yourself a free $10 credit on whatnot. It's got links to Dylan's merch store, which is his Big Cartel store. We've also got links to the Pro Wrestling Tees store, which is prowrestlingtees.com/swoggle. Now,
talked about it. My Big Cartel store added 2 new items. One of the items is in my basement, so I can't grab it right now because I don't go in my basement because it's dark and scary. But the brand new Swoggle snapbacks, and then the brand new koozies.
What does it say?
F koozies, drink faster. It's an audio podcast and a video podcast. F koozies, drink faster. Brand new in stock. Limited quantities available. Get them while you can. Rep the brand. Rep the podcast. It's got the podcast. It's got the brand on there. Get them while you can.
Hell yes. And that's it. That's all the plugs. That is, we talked about the social media. We talked about all the stores. We talked about the new DylanPostel.com. And also at DylanPostel.com, you can see all of Dylan's upcoming appearances, which we'll talk about a little bit more at the end of the show. But if you just want a list of where Dylan will be coming up, head on over to DylanPostel.com. But with that, Dylan, are you ready to talk about today's episode?
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Are you ready?
You became the
You did it. You did it.
I did do it. I didn't intentionally do it, but it happened.
I know.
Are you ready to talk about when you became the official mascot for Degeneration-X?
I am ready to break it down.
Mad Cat Beard Care, they are the absolute best. They make my beard feel soft, silky, smooth. But not only that, they've been a one-man show since 2019. Mad Cat Beard Care uses a portion of sales to care for local stray cats, cover their medical bills, find safe spaces, and forever homes. Their products are made to order with vitamins and all natural oils that promote strong, healthy hair and moisturize your skin as well. Mad Cat Beard Care has exclusive scents for myself as well as other wrestlers, such as a childhood favorite of mine, Delirious. Ring of Honor legend with his lime and French vanilla scent that makes my beard smell and feel amazing. And of course, make sure to try my exclusive scent, Swoggled, with notes of lavender and sage. And guys, make sure to use promo code SWOGGLED to save 15% on your whole order at madcatbeardcare.com. And remember, the Mad Cat makes a happy beard.
See what you did there. All right. So, April 13th, 2009, Hornswoggle is drafted to the Raw brand without Finlay. That is the key component of setting the stage because now it's just Swoggle.
Yeah, so I was real worried. I actually talked about it. We've talked about that before, actually, a little bit. I think on the Finlay episode, or I forget when, but I know we've talked about it a little bit before. And it was one of those things where I didn't know until that day that we were getting split. And the original idea was for me to manage Sheamus. That was why I was moving to Raw. And it's not known by many people, but I was supposed to manage Sheamus on Raw, and that just never happened.
What'd you think about that?
I was bummed because I was worried about leaving Fit. I was very worried. He was always one to go to bat for me, on and off screen. Always made sure I was used in like the right ways. And then just being on my own, literally like a child going off to college, if I would have ever known what that felt and didn't fail choir in college. But it's one of those things where I was very worried, and he just kept telling me, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And then the Sheamus thing didn't happen. And now I'm doing nothing or just random stuff. So then we move forward to the Chavo Guerrero feud, which was like one of the coolest times of my life, because every week we'd be doing a gimmick match with a guest host. And so every week
you've got the notes in front of you. That's literally the next bullet point on my notes.
Every week I would be doing something with guest hosts. And I was like pumped because they'd announced the guest host, and I was like, I wonder what I'm doing with them this week. And then it was like, oh, what can I get signed by them next week? And so it was just like, now my bar is a collection of signed guest host memorabilia, which is really cool. So then after a while, the Chavo stuff kept happening, and randomly my camera keeps going in and out of focus for some reason, and I don't know why. But randomly they come up to me and they said, yeah, this week Chavo is going to save you. And I go, what? And they go, yeah, you're going to be fighting I think it was fighting Chris Masters or something. There was something there where I was gonna, and then Chavo was gonna say, there was something with Chris Masters, and Chavo was gonna save me. And then, so we go through the rehearsal. Chavo was gonna save me before, like, this is all rehearsed before the show. And then it's like, nope, this isn't happening anymore. You're off. The segment's canceled. And I go,
oh,
okay. And then Triple H comes up to me and goes, hey, don't worry, it's canceled, but we have an idea. And I go, okay, I've heard hey, there's plans for you before. And I was like, okay. He goes, we think you're going to be part of us. And I go, part of us? Like, and he goes, yeah, we're going to working you into working with me and Sean. And I go, okay, this is really cool. I'm in, obviously. And so, but again, it was like, when is this happening? And it was the next week we were starting it off. And I remember they had to get me the next week, they had to make me Shawn Michaels chaps. And so the seamstresses had to make me Shawn Michaels chaps. I had that, and we just started. I have no idea the dates, but it was like off to the races very fast. Very, very fast.
So what I have in my notes is on the October 26th Raw, after several weeks of wearing DX clothes. So that means that for weeks prior, you're, like you said, you're wearing DX clothing. Oh, yeah. So on October 26th Raw, you received a legal notice that you're no longer allowed to wear the DX clothing.
So this was, but didn't I serve them a legal notice for Little People's Court? Did I resue them?
The only thing I saw was after several weeks of wearing DX clothing, Hornswoggle receives legal notification that he was no longer allowed to wear the clothing. Then also on the 26th is later on that night, he got his revenge by helping the Raw guest host Kyle Busch and Joey Logano put DX against each other and John Cena for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series.
Random story. Here we go. Joey Logano and Kyle Busch, NASCAR drivers. The thing was going to be, I was going to drive the NASCAR into the arena, rev the engine, and all this. And they proceed to go, how are you going to do this? You're a little guy. And I go, okay, sure. And I remember so we did it at rehearsal. I had 2 sticks for the things because they weren't going to modify the pedals for me. Because the NASCAR was being used that week on the track. The exact car.
Oh.
It literally came off the trailer into the arena and was going back onto the trailer to drive that week. So I couldn't mess this thing up. Rehearsal happens, and I was going to drive it out. I was going to rev the engine. And then, that's my engine revving noise.
You never heard a car before?
That's what a NASCAR sounds like to me. Oh, my tummy hurts. So we drive it out in rehearsal, and I have to, obviously it's like side ramp, and I have to stop before the barricades. And then the idea was me get out and go on either the hood or on top of the thing and cross chop. Because again, I'm making myself a member of DX. They were not happy I was getting on the hood or the top or whatever it was of the car because I was going to scratch the paint of said NASCAR that was going to be used that weekend. So they saw their people saw this and were like, no, we can't have him do that, whatever, he's gonna scratch the paint. And I remember Vince coming up to me and going, you get on that car and you crotch chop. I'm gonna get on that car and I'm gonna crotch chop. So here we go, we're live. And now I'm going, okay, I know where I have to stop before the barricade. here we go. I get the cue, and we're going. So all it was the car was in neutral, and someone gave it a little shove. All I had to do was hit the brake with one stick and rev the other one, rah, 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 with the other stick. And now I'm going, and the brake stick slips. And I'm going, oh! And in my mind, I froze, and I go, I'm going to not only wreck this car that's to be used, but I'm going to crash into people in this barricade. And so I'm going, like, pushing this stick in this brake, and it finally stops. I rev the engine. We're all good. And I go, I'm going to get on this car, and I'm going to crotch chop like I'm the son of a gun. And I got on that car, and I crotch chopped. But, like, my grandpa at the time was still around, and he's a huge NASCAR fan. So I got something signed for him by them. So that was really, really cool.
What was did you get any backlash from actually going on the hood of the truck, of the car?
I didn't. Not to me.
Oh,
I mean, I didn't care. I have no recollection. But it's one of those things where I really have no recollection besides almost crashing into the barricade and people behind the barricade.
I mean, that's kind of a very important part of the story. It's, you don't want to...
To be honest, I might have to watch that clip back. So yeah, I remember that. And then I remember I remember doing a thing during the holidays where I jumped like off a Christmas tree, essentially, or like jumped through a Christmas tree onto them and popped out of it. One of them was that. I popped out of a Christmas box one time. So I feel like me trying to join DX lasted forever. And I don't really know.
Yeah, so what I have
Yep.
in the notes is December 21st, 2009, Hornswoggle tries pressing charges against DX for assault, but later dropped them.
That was the week after MSG.
Okay.
So the week after MSG was that. So MSG was probably the biggest moment of that besides Little People's Court, which we'll get to right after. Because that's a whole nother story. MSG, I hear that I'm going to have a segment in the ring with Triple H and Shawn Michaels at Madison Square Garden on Monday Night Raw. I was so hyped. And I was like, okay, what are we doing? And Triple H, he says, I'm going to pedigree you in the middle of the ring. And I'm like, hell yes. This is going to be awesome. Then he asks, how can I pedigree you? You don't have long arms. So we had to do it. We did it in rehearsal. And I remember like him doing it and him going like, this is the most awkward thing ever because it's just my little arms. And then we went and I just ate it. And I was like inside. The inner fan in me was so like elated because it was really, really cool in my mind.
Well, yeah, you got pedigreed.
Yeah, but this is just rehearsal.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
like it's like you got pedigreed by
Yeah.
Triple H.
It's pretty cool. So then we do it. Then they say, yeah, we're going to put you on a backboard and carry you out because then we feel bad for doing it. And then, of course, the ribbing of, oh, you're so heavy. I didn't care. I was getting pedigreed at Madison Square Garden. Perfectly fine by me. So then we do the segment, and I remember, like, you could see my arms just, like, waiting. When he kicks me in the guts, you see my arms just waiting to take it. But he was just, like, getting, like waiting for the pop even more. And it was so awesome. Like, it was such a cool feeling, like, in the Garden. I hate the Garden. I absolutely hate Madison Square Garden. But it's still pretty cool when something like that happens. So yeah, and then they backboarded me out. Him and Sean carried me to the back on a backboard, which was fun and funny. And it was, I remember thinking like, oh, we're doing this. Like, this is actually happening at that point. And it did. And we just kept going with things. Like, those are the things I remember most because it's like, it lasted for so long before it was like, yeah, you're in. You're in now. So then fast forward a little bit, and I serve them assault charge papers because the week after that, Vern Troyer, I believe, was going to host Monday Night Raw. And the idea was I was going to take them to Little People's Court with guest judge Vern Troyer. Would have been this big moment of that. Would have been perfect. Would have fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Vern Troyer, nope. I'm not doing that, pal. I talk about it in the book. He wanted to be the little person in his segments. I think I still had a segment with him or something, but he wanted to be the one. And I was like, okay. So we had to push it off for a week. And it was irritating, but because it was, again, one of those things where, oh, we're right there. We got this. We're going to do it. And it gets pushed back again. So then we finally get to Little People's Court. And all I'm hearing is we have a little judge, we have a little jury, all of this, a little bailiff. And I was like, this is going to be fun. Really fun.
The segment is long.
Really long.
The video version of it that you can see, it's on YouTube still. It's almost a half hour. It's like 25 minutes.
Yeah. So there's that, because then it goes, we do something, because that was the Christmas episode.
That's the 21st. Yeah, December 21st.
Because then later in the night, I end up going into the ring with Jericho and Big Show. I pull Jericho's beard off, and then Jericho and Big Show just start assaulting all of these little people. And Big Show sidewalk slams one of them, and it just looked like the guy died. It was just this huge bump from Big Show onto this little guy. But I remember that because we all came from under the ring. And it was just a bunch of little people coming from under the ring to try to save me after I took off Santa Jericho's beard. Which ended with DX letting me in. And me, I think might have closed the show with me saying either ho 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 or suck it, whatever the two. But I was in then. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. I'm officially in this. But thinking about the timing of it, it didn't last all that long because WrestleMania was coming up. And I'll get to that after, towards the end of this. But thinking about date-wise now, I completely forgot that was the first night I was like in. But then they release a t-shirt, 2 t-shirts with me on it in DX. I was blown away. I was like, I have a t-shirt with DX. And then it was one of those time periods where it was, again, like almost like an off to the races feeling. House shows. We would be doing like a tag match. There was them two and Cena against Legacy. It was DiBiase Jr., Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. And it was like 6-mans where everyone would be down. I'd come out and I'd tune up the band in the corner and kick Randy. And then he'd grab me and it would lead right to the finish every night, where it was like, I'm working in the main event of this, coming out with them. I would come out with them and throw glow sticks. George, one of the coolest memories in my whole WWE career was being able to do DX Pyro. I was in heaven. I was like, man, I should never have held a title. I should never have made it to WWE. I shouldn't have been doing Pyro. And every night in my mind, I was X-Pac. And it was the coolest feeling ever because I got to do DX Pyro every night.
There's a shirt somewhere of a Swoggle X-Pac.
Yeah, every night on house shows, on overseas tours, all of that. Throw glow sticks, and man, we had so many glow sticks. Those things were so fun to throw. I would see these parents just not paying attention and looking at their phones and just huck them at these, like, and these flew. They could get to the second and third deck, and I loved throwing those things. It was so much fun. And then, again, in the ring, doing DX Pyro every night. It was, I seriously, it's one of those pinch me things that gets brought up. It's like the two biggest things that get brought up are Vince's son and DX, for sure. And then and then WLC, which is just nuts to me.
And then if you think about it, so we didn't even we skipped right to it. So the December 21st episode of Raw, Swoggle agrees to drop the charges when DX says that they'll make him the official mascot. Like that's how that story ends, and then it transitions into Swoggle being, with DX. And
so this is another thing. I was never a member, except on the t-shirt. I was world's littlest member. I was never a member, and they made it like known.
The shirt says it.
Exactly. But it was like always known that I was the mascot. And it was always a weird, I don't know. In all reality, guys, I don't care. But it was just a very odd thing. That they'd always like, hey, you're the official mascot. And I was like, whatever. I'm still doing the pyro. I'm still coming out with them. I'm still in matches with them. All that. I don't care. I don't like it was just odd how it was always like mascot.
I look at it this way. If you're on the shirt and it says it has the word member, you're a member. That's how I see it.
But it was nuts. That whole time period was just crazy.
And then we transition into the following year. We're now in January of 2010. And there's a Raw backstage segment where Hornswoggle and Triple H confront the Big Show, Miz and John Heater. And Triple H makes a match for a 6-man tag. It is DX and Hornswoggle against the Big Show, the Miz, and John Heater. Now, I want to talk about the confrontation. I want to talk about the match. I want to talk about the finish of the match. I want to hear it all.
I remember nothing of the confrontation. Nothing.
Okay.
I remember in the match, there was going to be a spot where finally myself and John Heater get tagged in, which again, this is crazy. This is crazy that whoever it was, Triple H or Shawn Michaels, I'm getting tagged into a match alongside them. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So that happens, and then I get tagged in, and it's John. It was going to be John Heater and I. We were going to square off. And then he was going to kick me. I said, just kick me. In the face, in the chest, just hit me. He didn't kick me in either the face or the chest. He kicked me square in the throat. And it was one of those kicks where it was like, and I couldn't breathe. And it just hit me perfectly. And I was like, oh, and my like froze. I don't remember anything else in the match besides then them having an idea for the finish where Big Show was going to fall on John Heater, I believe, and then I was going to tadpole splash on top of Big Show, on top of Heater. Again, crazy to me that I'm hitting the finish or one of the finishes of the match. And then I have to think, how am I going to hit this without hurting me, without killing Big Show? Because he's a big guy to land on, and I can't really airbag it like I normally would. And so he goes, Triple H, I remember Triple H was saying, fuck, just do it. Just land on him. You're fine. And Big Show going, no, like, I'm going, no, that's not fine. So I don't even think we rehearsed it. We might have rehearsed it. I don't remember. But I remember just having to do it and just landing all my weight on Big Show's back and then getting the pin in the match. Pinning John Heater. Like, again, It's crazy. I keep saying it's so much this episode, but it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts how that would just work, or how that would happen in my life. And it's just one of those things
awesome.
where it's a very pinch me moment.
And the coolest part about your whole run in WWE is that there's all these memories, and there's all these, obviously you have the insider stories, you have the backstage stories, but like if you ever want to relive these moments, they're all recorded, they're all, you know, on YouTube or on Peacock or whatever. You could just go back, oh, you know, I know that you won't, because you say all the time that you hate watching yourself, but if there was ever a point where like Landon wanted to go watch your B&DX again, like he could go and like watch these things. Like it's a cool thing that like you have this almost 10-year block of time where if you ever wanted to relive something or needed a refresher on something, you could just go and watch the footage of it. Not a lot of people have that.
That's whenever things pop up, I'm getting better at when they pop up on Facebook or on Twitter of a clip of actually watching it, because it is cool to think like, oh man, this is 13 years ago now, and it's like it's 13 years ago and I completely forgot this even happened. So it's one of those moments I'm it's almost nice that I forget about these things, because when they do pop up, it's almost like a fun surprise. You know what I mean? It's
and then maybe it like jogs a memory of something. You're like, oh wait, I'm seeing this, and oh yeah, and then this happened, and then there's like a funny backstage story that either happened before or after. Like it's happened on this podcast where we've been talking about something. You've been like, oh wait a second, I remember this thing.
I remember John Heater after the match, very sorry and apologetic that he kicked me really hard, but it was fine. Like it was great. I loved it. Another one that jogs like an idea or a thing. So there was who was the guest host? Rapper. Was not Florida. Was the other one that was Timbaland. Timbaland was the guest host. Okay. Jillian Hall was doing this singing character, and there was something like she was singing for Timbaland, and then Shawn Michaels was going to throw me on a skateboard, roll me down the hall, or Triple H, one of the two, was going to roll me into her and take her out to save Timbaland from having to hear her voice. And the whole time, so we had to rehearse it. Like I was duct taped to a skateboard, and they were going to roll me.
Oh, you weren't like standing on a skateboard and they pushed you on the skateboard. I
was duct taped to a skateboard, like a longboard, and I was flying on this thing when they did it. And then, but one of the writers was telling Jillian Hall that she wasn't taking the bump on the concrete well enough, that she was protecting herself too much. Shawn Michaels went to bat for Jillian Hall so much and said, you know what? Get her a pad then. If she's not taking it right, get her a pad. Or, better yet, he looked right at the writer and said, you take the bump. Go ahead. You don't think she's doing it? You do it better. And really stood up for her. And it was one of those moments where I was like, oh man, I've never seen Shawn Michaels angry. This is pretty crazy. And the writer immediately said, okay, I will get her a crash pad. I got her a crash pad, found out how to shoot around it, and that was it. And ended up being awesome. There was another segment too where I remember it gets brought up all the time, or like gets lately. It's like I'm tagged in a bunch where it was going into Survivor Series.
It's Survivor Series. It's for the WWE Championship. Yeah, okay, it's the one where the clip is where Shawn immediately
kicks Triple H. So it was going into that match. But they had me hung on a hook, and the verbiage was John Cena comes in and goes, "You can't hang a midget on a hook, Shawnee." And I don't know if they kept the verbiage or if they changed it to little person, but I remember them going, "Can we say midget?" And I remember going like, Vince hates that word. And I remember, but I wasn't going to speak up in this because I don't care about that word. And I forget, I think they ended up changing it. You can't hang a little person on a hook, Shawnee. But it was in the script as you can't hang a midget on a hook. I love when I can make people uncomfortable with that. And then we had to figure out how they were gonna hang me. And so I had this whole like chest like vest thing with like a almost like a backpack hook on the back, and they just hung me and like from this, and I was just in the air dangling there. And it was one of those things where okay, just see how long I can dangle. Here we go. All right, we're ready to shoot. Nope, not going yet. Oh, yeah. But it was
Jesus.
Jillian Hall one I remember. I remember this the Christmas ones where and then there was one where I attacked Santino for dressing as Jericho. I remember that. I hopped off like over a couch and tackled him. I remember that one. I definitely remember the backstage like randomness because that again lasted so much longer than the actual run.
We're forgetting the most important thing.
Uh-oh.
You got DX action figures.
Oh! Holy shit!
As a part of the run. We're like, oh my god, it's so great you were on a shirt. You got action figures.
The most expensive action figure that's on the aftermarket right now of mine.
You have what, 2, 3? You have the full-size one, then you have the
oh yeah, then
the Rumble? the Rumbler?
Rumblers. 2 Rumblers. It's the same one, but 2 different packs. So yeah. So out of the DX run, I got an Elite, which for me to get an Elite was nuts, and it came in the helmet, in the shirt, and it was in the same series. I think it was. I know it was in the same series as Shawn Michaels, Triple H, David Hart Smith, Tyson Kidd, and I believe John Cena was the 6th. So it was like a banger series. But I was like, man, I heard I was maybe gonna get it, and then it came out, and I was like, this is nuts. And again, when I got released, I was selling these things for $20. Now they're $200.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, what did I do? What was I doing? But yeah, it's my second favorite. The WLC one is my favorite, but getting that DX Elite again, I never would have thought I would get an action figure in my life, period. But then getting an Elite action figure, it was nuts. It's absolutely crazy.
Let me tell you, I'm very impressed by your memory of that Elite series. Elite Series 7 is Triple H, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Hornswoggle, David Hart Smith, and Tyson Kidd.
So I always forget that Cena's the 6th. I always know that it's me with the DX guys because we all came with glow sticks, which was really, really cool.
And you have a ladder.
A mini ladder, because Shawn has the hat and the Shawn Michaels shirt. Triple H has the hat, the weird hat, and the DX shirt. Yeah, and I remember Tyson Kidd, DH Smith, because they were on the back of the box.
And then the Rumbler is
me and Cena, and then me and Kali.
But it's the same figure.
Same figure. Yep.
Okay, I was like, did they reverse the colors?
No,
but no, it's the same.
It was just the exact same. And again, it was one of those like, man, I'm in a 2-pack with John Cena. I love this. It's going to sell. And then it was like, I don't know what you have for notes after that, but then it was very almost starting to fizzle. And it was a bummer because Shawn was going into his match with Undertaker at WrestleMania. Triple H, they held the tag titles. They won the tag titles, I remember.
Yep.
But then they didn't want me. It was weird. Sometimes they didn't want me involved in those matches. I don't think I was ever involved in those matches. And the reasoning was it's too serious.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But it really sucked on my end because I'm back just in limbo. And then it was the build to Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and Triple H and Sheamus? Was that the Rumble with the pipe?
Let's see.
Or the
this would
Mania
be
with the pipe? 26.
2010?
26.
Oh, Mania 26. I was going by year. Let's see. So,
I think it was Triple H.
Sheamus, Triple H, yeah. Yep.
And again, that was too serious for me to be involved in. So now I'm going into WrestleMania as kind of a part of DX, but not a part of DX and not involved in anything. and then it was done. Like literally, DX again was done, and it was like, okay, what do I do now? But again, I'm not the least bit bitter about it, or the least bit like, oh man, you forgot about me. Like I was saying, I can't be mad at not like at it ending. It has to end at some point because DX kind of ended again. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it was just like, oh, what now? What's left for me to do? Man, it was so many like fun, interesting moments and segments that really, really stand out to me. And again, it's easily the most talked about thing I've done. That and Vince's son.
Yeah. So then what I have in the notes is after that, you are a part of the 2010 draft, and you get drafted back to SmackDown. And then in October of 2010, you go into being the official SmackDown mascot for bragging rights, but we'll talk about bragging rights on a separate episode and everything that went into that. But unless you've got anything else, that's all I've got note-wise for Swoggle's DX run.
Guys, if you have questions, at us. Send us a tweet. Leave us a comment. Whatever. Send us a tweet.
Absolutely.
If you have questions for us for these episodes, what was this segment like? Who came up with this? What was this? Or get at us on Twitter, and we'll do a little bit of follow-up. We'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, that's what we have for the DX portion of the show.
We are at Going Postl Pod on all forms of social media. Now, we haven't done one of these in a while, Dylan. But I was wondering if you were feeling a little froggy. Maybe you wanted to get into
let's go.
Let's hot take.
Let's go. Let's ruin my day.
Guys, let me talk to you about our friends over at Manscaped, bringing you the absolute best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped makes precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. The Performance Package is the ultimate bundle in men's hygiene. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for our listeners. 20% off and free shipping worldwide when you use promo code SWOGGLE at manscaped.com. That's promo code SWOGGLE at manscaped.com for 20% off your order and free shipping. Wait, if my math is correct, 7 million men carry the two... That's 14 million balls. All right.
So for those who are not familiar, it has been a little bit since we've done one officially. There's been a hot take every episode. This is officially, though. Hot take is a segment where we give Dylan a topic that the general public usually enjoys, and Dylan has somewhat of a hatred, a despise, a reason to not like. We've talked about his dislike of toast. We've talked about his dislike of grilled cheese. We've talked about his dislike of koozies, so much that he made a fuck koozies koozie. That's a thing that exists that you can go and buy at dylanpostle.com. But today, I would like to hear your thoughts on breakfast for dinner, also known as Brenner.
It's known as what?
Brenner.
That's not. People don't use that.
You have brunch. It's like breakfast and lunch.
I understand.
When you do breakfast for dinner, it's Brenner.
People don't use that term.
I've heard it. People say it. It's the thing. Like when you go to a diner,
I understand.
late at night and you get breakfast, it's Brenner.
That's stupid. Why are you getting it? That's the first thing you're supposed to eat in the morning. The first thing you're supposed to eat in the morning is breakfast. So why are you eating it at night? Why? Breakfast food.
Because it's good.
No, it's not. Breakfast food is the worst food of the day. The worst. Eggs.
I don't agree with that.
Eggs, unless they're over medium or fried, kick rocks. Bacon, unless it's extra crispy.
Dylan Postl, big deviled egg guy.
I do like deviled eggs. But that's not a breakfast food. That is not a breakfast food. I hate the concept of breakfast for dinner. To me, it's lazy. It's very uncreative. I hate it. I hate the thought of it. Landon asks for it sometimes, and it makes me so mad. Oh, let's just have breakfast for dinner. Make pancakes or like egg sandwiches.
Sounds great.
Or eggs.
That sounds great.
It's awful. No, you eat pancakes in the morning. That's what you get when you. That's the only time they're acceptable. Are you eating them for lunch? No, you're eating them for brunch, not for lunch. You're not going at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. and having pancakes and waffles. You're not doing it. You know why? Because it's insane. You know why you go for brunch? Because you're too hungover for the night before, so then you go to brunch because you're waking up late. That's why. Brunch is because you don't want to get your ass out of the house. That's why. And now, if you can't get your ass out of the house by 6 p.m. and you're having breakfast for dinner, that's your fault, and that's why it sucks. That's proof that it doesn't make sense.
So close to the mic. So close to the mic.
You do this to me! I'm moving the mic!
It's like I mentioned the hot take, and you grab the mic and move it closer to your mouth.
I didn't even move it. This is how mad this makes me, guys.
I watched you lean in as you're like, it's stupid.
Justin Summers gonna be real pissed off.
I'm sorry, Justin. There's nothing. I can only do so much when he literally is like teeth pressed up against the microphone.
Guys, here's the issue. Again, like I said, brunch happens because you're too lazy to get out of bed, or you're hungover, or you're just enjoying your morning. I get it. You're eating, but it shouldn't be called brunch. It's just late breakfast. That's what it should be called.
I like brunch. I think brunch is great. I think breakfast any time of the day is acceptable.
You'd
And
rather
once again,
hold on. You given a choice of steak or chicken or
that's not what the debate is.
bullshit.
That's not what the debate is. Sometimes like pancakes just sound good for dinner.
More than steak or chicken at dinner time.
What if steak and chicken aren't an option?
We got this, George. We all fucking got this. This is a cell phone. This is a goddamn cell phone. We have whatever we want at our fingertips at any time. We're in 2023, George. This isn't the fucking 1960s where we have to walk 6 miles uphill both ways. Then maybe you crack an egg off the farm. Sure, because you don't have fucking steak. Now you got steak at your fingertips, or a burger, or chicken. You don't need to be like, I got nothing to eat around here. I have to have cereal. Kick rocks!
You know how I know that Landon's not home? Because I know
he'd
that
be
he
in
would
here.
come.
It's the
He
first
would
day of
run
school.
into the room and
It's
defend
100%. I
breakfast
love
for
this
dinner.
now. Let's record on Fridays all the time because he's back at school. Daddy's got the house to himself. Breakfast for dinner.
He's flipping off the camera. Well, as usually that we like to end this segment, the views expressed by Dylan Postl are not necessarily the views of the entire Going Pasta podcast.
They should be. They should be.
Or the members of Postl Industries. These are just Dylan's opinions. Let us know what you think. What are your thoughts on breakfast for dinner?
Let us know your thoughts.
You can let us know.
And if you like them, and if you like breakfast for dinner, you need to reevaluate your life. Do it.
I think you need to reevaluate your life needs to be a shirt because you say it so much on this podcast.
Well, it's true. It's fully true. If you cannot go to me with a straight face and go, "Oh man, I'd really love scrambled eggs instead of a nice burger or pizza." Also,
Okay.
Here's the thing about eggs. Here's the thing.
Oh boy.
You ever got yolk on your fingers? It stains your fingers. It's awful. Like an egg sandwich, I love a good egg sandwich. But the yolk gets on your fingers, it's
and what's
impossible.
your preferred egg? Is
Over medium.
Over medium? Okay.
Yep. Guys, Let us know your thoughts on breakfast for dinner. Because guess what? If they're argumentative, to my mindset, it's not going to end well. This will be an argument we will not win.
The argumentative. You are the argumentative one.
I'm not. Chris Bogger called me angry again today. I was having a very good day. He goes, "You're the most angry person."
Chris Bogger may be onto something.
He goes, "You're the most angry person we know." Literally, you're the most angry person we know, and it's not. I'm just passionate. Passion is not anger fueled.
All right. Well, let us know what you thought or what you think about breakfast for dinner somewhere on the internet. Either a comment on this video, a social media post. You can reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram at Going Postl Pod. You can reach out to Dylan himself at Dylan Postl. Plug your stuff, man. Let the people know where they could find you and what you got going on.
After this drops, this coming Friday, I will be in Upper New York. Upper New York. Brockport, New York on Friday. And then Saturday, I will be in Wadsworth, Ohio, just outside Cleveland. AIW, the Wadsworth Street Festival. I am the AIW Street Festival King. Hope I will see Justin Summers there. I will have koozies on hand. I will have the brand new snapbacks. A lot of stuff. Check out the hub, the brand new all things me, all things Going Postl. The hub, DylanPostl.com. It's launched and it is pretty. Otherwise, at Dylan Postl on all forms of social media. That's all I got. Oh yeah, hey guys, check out my pal George and my other friend John Caruso's podcast, The Game Marks Pod. What's it all about?
It is myself and former Create a Pro champion Johnny Clash, but like Dylan said, on this podcast he goes by John Caruso, and we break down a different wrestling video games and we figure out the good, the bad, the awesome of all things wrestling video games.
Thank you. This has been awesome. Another fun episode once again.
Hey guys, Magic Candle Company is the best way to bring your favorite vacation scents to your home. The smell of a tropical beach, dark water ride, a cruise ship, or even a water park. The Magic Candle Company is the best way to bring those nostalgic and iconic scents from your favorite vacation spot to your home. Visit MagicCandleCompany.com and use code SWOGGLE to save 15% on your whole order and bring the magic home today.